Okay, well, thanks for speaking to us, Leah. So what's your immediate response to what's happened in the last 24 hours?
You mean about my being expelled? I'm surprised that their administration was so incompetent to take this long. I think it's, but more seriously, I think it's, so I don't know how much people know, so for those who don't know, I was elected as a delegate from my constituency Labour Party, one of 6, and everything was fine. I had a notice of notice of possible auto-exclusion back in August, and I responded immediately, within 3 days. So I actually got the letter on the same day as Ken Loach, just to place it in time, in Friday the 13th of August. And the crimes that I had committed, or the misdemeanours, they weren't really crimes, were to have signed an open letter organised by Labour against the witch hunt, asking Rebecca Long-Bailey not to sign the 10 pledges of the Board of Deputies, which I could go into if you want to. And in February of this year, I spoke at an online meeting. In fact, I also spoke at a meeting in December of last year, but they seem to have not noticed that one. But I reminded them of it. And that was a meeting of Labour in Exile Network. And those organisations were banned, or proscribed technically, by the Labour Party on the 20th of July. And so whatever I did was predated the crime. And I don't know of anything else in law where if you commit a crime before it becomes a crime on the statute book, you can still be prosecuted 20 months later. So I think this is awful, and I just want to emphasise it's really not about me, and people have been worried about how I am. I'm fine. But it's another nail in the coffin for the left in the Labour Party, and I think worryingly for the left in general, because the message has come through this sort of panic of the ruling class at Jeremy Corbyn. They went into overdrive, even at that sort of moderate change that would have helped ordinary people. And the message that there is no alternative, or there's a few more crumbs that can go from the table, is a worrying message when people are desperate with what they're going to be facing over the next months, with, the national insurance rise and the loss of universal credit, as well as coming off of furlough and all of those other things, and the crisis that was already there before the pandemic. So, and of course, the right wing in the Labour Party and elsewhere will say it's about anti-Semitism, Well, I'm a left-wing Jew, I'm co-chair of Jewish Voice for Labour, and we have a committee of 18 people, and 11 of us have had some form of notice of investigation, auto-exclusion. I've been expelled, there were people suspended. There's someone like Councillor Jo Bird, who is a Jewish councillor in the Wirral. She's on her 4th investigation. She's got through every single one of them, and it's not only happening to Jews, but it particularly gives the lie to the idea that it's about anti-Semitism.
What do you think is really driving this?
Well, what I think it's about is to crush the left, because they got the fright of their life. The ruling class, the right wing, which I include the right wing of the Labour Party, got the absolute fright of their life. That not only that a left-wing leader got elected, or somebody got elected to be a leader, but also the waves of enthusiasm. Hundreds of thousands of people joined the Labour Party. Thousands of people came out to see Corbyn speak. Not only, but particularly young people. And that was tough. They don't want a movement. And they are terrified of a powerful left, even with that level of what I would consider a pretty moderate programme. And of course, he particularly is an anti-war activist, obviously patron of Palestine Solidarity Campaign and of Stop the War. Probably not pro-NATO, for example. And I think it was those sorts of things that they were terrified and they had to crush. And the dangerous thing for me is that it implies, the message that goes out to people is there is no hope for an alternative. You might get a few more crumbs. Things can be better, but they'll never be good.
Where do you think Starmer's taking Labour?
Oh, I think on the road to nowhere, my own view. Because, you've even got The Guardian writing articles saying, I am paraphrasing, for goodness sake, Starmer, these are things you had going for you. You weren't Corbyn, and you were presenting yourself as a good manager, competent, and you can't even organise rule changes. you know, and you're the one talking about rule changes, and where are your ideas? This is the Guardian saying it. You don't have to be on the left of the party to be despairing at the lack of ideas. And although he's going to give a speech on Wednesday, and I read his essay, I did think, no, you've got to read it, not just read the Morning Star's excellent commentary on it. It really had no ideas. It had a few bits of analysis, and it's a shame, you know, I was a working class guy, and I benefited hugely as a working class girl from what was on offer, you know, in terms of free education and so on and so on. Anyway, yeah, I think it's on the road to nowhere, but I don't think Keir Starmer will ever be Prime Minister, but I think he's getting the party into position so that the ruling class will be happy to back them as the Tories collapse in on themselves, as they've done before. That's where I think it's going.
So how should the left respond, in your opinion?
Now that's a really huge question. I'm not a theorist. I'm not an expert on this. I think we have to get on very, very fast with exactly debating that. And I think we need to really strengthen the extra parliamentary movement and bring together all the campaigns, because lots of people are active. I mean, literally walking here today to meet you in Brighton, there was a big demonstration in support of refugees, very much against the dominant narrative, and there is, you know, there's going to be a demonstration at the Tory conference, for example, against the police crime evidence bill, particularly, but not only, as it impacts on the Gypsy, Roma and traveller communities. There are moves. The thing is, it's very disparate, and we have to find a way of bringing them together. The People's Assembly might be one way. We've got to find that way, and we've got to find it fast. And we've got to help to educate people, including ourselves, on what's really going on. What are the tactics and the strategies for now? A lot of people have got strategies and tactics that were appropriate 20, 30 years ago. We're in a very, very, very different situation politically, economically, in terms of the climate, and in terms of the way in which information travels. Both positively, in which we could organise a demonstration really fast because of things like Facebook and Twitter, but also a lot of false narratives. Oh, we think we're doing fantastic communication and we just stay within our bubble because of the way the algorithms work. I'm no technician, I have no idea, but we have to take all of those differences into account.